Christian Horner out at Red Bull, fired, told to don't let the door hit you or the good Lord split you. He is out at Red Bull after a year and a half of diminishing cars, getting slower and slower by the race, and only by the unbelievable talent of Max freaking Verstappen was he able to hold on this long and stay in the championship fight until here. And now he is out. Thrown off the back of the bus. That is screaming down into the ravine. In a shocked article by Philip Clearan, in a shock development, Christian Horner has been removed as CEO and team principal of Red Bull Formula One with immediate effect. The Laurent Mekies is taking over after Horner has been the team principal since its inception 2 decades ago. Horner appears to be paying the price for a general downturn at the squad over the past 18 months. You have people running out of Red Bull like the building is on fire. Newey, he's gone. Rob Marshall, he's gone. Jonathan Wheatley, he's gone. Will Courtney, he is leaving. And you have Max Verstappen being courted like a blonde hair, blue eye, blonde bombshell of a supermodel by Mercedes. This is one of the final blows. There's only one pillar standing, and that is Max Verstappen. And he's got opt-out clauses in his contract. Now, we don't know exactly what that is, but this has got to be a move to tell Max, hey, we are all in with you. We are going with you. We choose you, Max Verstappen. We want you to stay by any means necessary. Now, I don't know how much the relationship between Helmut Marko and Max Verstappen, if it has soured at all. I don't know if it's still strong. But we'll be finding out here in the next month or so, because we got one more race until the summer break. So we'll see. I mean, Max is getting courted by Mercedes, by Aston Martin, and God knows who else. But from next season, Red Bull is embarking on its own ambitious engine program at Red Bull Powertrains with support from Ford, which adds further question marks over the team's long-term competitiveness. Red Bull has released Christian Horner from his operational duties with effect from today, and has appointed Laurent Mekies as CEO of Red Bull Racing. A Red Bull spokesman confirmed to motorsport.com, Oliver Mintzlaff, CEO Corporate Projects and Investments, thanked Christian Horner for his exceptional work over the past 2 decades. And some nice things about Christian Horner. And then CEO Peter Bayer. This quote is from Mekies. The last year and a half has been an absolute privilege to lead the team with Peter. It has been an amazing adventure to contribute to the birth of Racing Bulls together with all our talented people. The spirit of the whole team is incredible, and I strongly believe that this is just the beginning. Alan is the perfect man to take over now and continue our path. He knows the team inside and out and has always been an important pillar of our early success. Alan Permain, the new boss at the Racing Bulls, says, I feel very honored to take on the role as team principal and would like to thank Oliver Mintzlaff and Helmut Marko for the trust that they have shown in me. Now, this all kind of stems from the allegations of Christian Horner at the beginning of last year, where you really saw a divide in Red Bull, and then you see the car regress as the year goes on. You had a split between the Austrian team, the Austrian side of the team, and the and then with Horner and with Christian Horner and his crew, Max, or at least Jos Verstappen, was behind the Austrian, was with the Austrian side, wanting Horner out. Now, we don't know whether Jos is essentially a pseudo burner account for Max, but you can definitely see since the beginning of last year that there has been a mighty shift in Red Bull that has led to Checo being out of Formula One, the decision coming ridiculously late, and the decision to bring in Liam Lawson and then demote him after 2 races. The question that I have is, was this a move for Red Bull, or was this a move to try to convince Max to stay, or was this a move to to pretty much completely bomb it and begin the rebuild with Lindblad? Because I do know that Jos and Christian, they were not getting along, and I don't ever remember seeing a shot of Jos Verstappen at all over the last year and a half. So, and then you have the Max and Red Bull going at each other over Max on iRacing, and it has been an absolute utter mess at Red Bull. So I really don't know. This is probably the last ditch effort to convince Max Verstappen to stay, because, and this also tells me that Max is in that window of being able to opt out, because as I've mentioned before, in the Drive to Survive series, and this was before Max's latest extension, that Max had an outperformance clause where if he was 4th or lower in the points, he would be able to opt out. This move tells me that that number has changed, and it is either 3rd or lower, 2nd or lower. It has changed, and Max may be in that window. And Max may very well be looking to move on to the Mercedes. Now, I do know, we do know that neither driver at Mercedes is signed to 2026 between Kimi and George. And there's quite obviously a reason for that. Toto Wolff's Moby Dick is sitting right over there, and he is just waiting for that one big push. Now, could this be the official spiral to really kick it off at Red Bull? Well, let's meet the new guy, Laurent Mekies, who has seemingly built a better car than Red Bull at the Racing Bulls. So this article is from Basil Devani. I apologize if I butchered the name. Born on the 28th of April, 1977 in Tours, France, Laurent Mekies today became at 48 years old only the second team boss in the history of Red Bull Formula One team. The Milton Keynes-based outfit, which entered F1 in 2005, has shaped and led to success by Christian Horner for 2 decades until his abrupt exit today, halfway through the season. As an engineer specialist in aerodynamics, Mekies has been immersed in motorsports for over 25 years, starting with Asia Tech in Formula 3 in the early 2000s, and he made his first steps in Formula 1 with the Aeros team before moving to Minardi as a race engineer for driver Mark Webber, Justin Wilson. I'm not even going to try to pronounce those last couple names. When the small Italian outfit was bought by Red Bull and became Toro Rosso in 2006, Mekies was promoted to chief engineer and settled into the role for nearly a decade. In 2014, he left race competition, but remained involved in F1, joining the FIA as a safety director and deputy race director. He played a key role in shaping the regulations, spearheaded the implementation of the Halo, now an essential safety device in single-seaters. After 3 years in the sports governing body, Mekies returned to the pit wall, drawn by the allure of Ferrari, who appointed him head of track operations, then sporting director, and eventually deputy team principal over a 5-year stint. His move to Maranello had sparked controversy at the time, with rival teams criticizing his lack of meaningful garnering leave between his departure from the FIA and the arrival at Ferrari. Only one step remained for Mekies, and it was in addition to being a seasoned engineer, had proven his ability as a manager. When Red Bull decided to overhaul its second team, now called Racing Bulls, it was Mekies it turned to, and he officially became the team principal for the first time in early 2024, succeeding the long-serving Franz Tost back in... I'm not going to try to pronounce that. I think he has a very, very good understanding of the business, having started as an engineer and worked at the FIA, said Frederick Vassar. When Mekies left Ferrari, and obviously in this kind of position, you need someone with full understanding of the company. Mekies, at the head of the Italian team, didn't go unnoticed, as he showed he could handle the broad range of responsibilities required to run a modern F1 team and its organization. Chosen by Red Bull to succeed Horner, Mekies is now facing the most significant challenge of his career, leading an operation that goes well beyond the scope of a traditional team. Red Bull is building a new wind tunnel, developing its first in-house power unit with Ford, and has recently been rocked by internal strife that even cast doubt over Max Verstappen's future. Time will tell. Well, yeah, of course time will tell. With the legacy of Horner era turns into gold or dust. So, Mekies, the main job of being a team principal is putting the right guys in the right spot to succeed and trusting those guys. Christian Horner was not able to replace this last round effectively. Upgrades have been absolutely atrocious. The second driver of Red Bull has been a revolving door. And it has been a next level crap show. And given the allegations that popped up at the beginning of last season, that just continued. The allegations may have been resolved, quote unquote, but the civil strife within Red Bull was certainly not. The wounds were still there and still very open, and now Red Bull has decided enough is enough. It is time to move on. Now, Martin Brundle says, sad, but not completely out of the blue, which I don't want to say it was completely out of the blue, but like it was out of shallow left. It was a little. It wasn't like completely out of left field, but it was out of shallow left field. The Sky Sports commentator, this article by Lydia May, Sky Sports commentator and Formula One driver former Formula One driver Martin Brundle has reacted to the news of Christian Horner's firing as the Red Bull boss. Said that it was quite sad, but it was not completely out of the blue. The Milton Keynes outfit announced that the 51-year-old has been removed effective immediately, blah, 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 blah. And Martin Brundle, he said, I don't think it was completely out of the blue. Given things are going on and the sort of problems in the team, words getting out that Verstappen and others, he explained, I'm quite sad if I'm about it, if I'm honest. I consider Christian a friend, and he's done an incredible job for the last 2 decades. Won an awful lot of races and championships for the drivers and the team. And he took it from what was a Stewart team through Jaguar, and it was struggling to massive campus. And it was struggling to a massive campus in Milton Keynes and had an awful lot of success and a huge trophy cabinet. But it's not difficult to feel in the Formula One paddock and observe and hear that things were not particularly rosy. This has been an ongoing thing for a year and a half. The wounds have been there. They have been open. It has been a soft. It started out just. It started out rough, and yeah, it may seem that things were staying together because Max was still winning, and then Checo began to fall, and then Max began to fall, and then Checo got thrown off the back of the bus. Liam Lawson came in, couldn't qualify that car better than 18th, and then he got thrown off the back of the bus. Yuki came in, and he's not doing much better. This has been an absolute, utter disaster. And whether this helps, I mean, you can put a Band-Aid on a bullet hole, but it's not going to fix the problem. This is going to take years to rectify. Now, we'll see what happens with the 2026 car with all the regulation changes. When times come for regulation change, I would rather have an engineer be the head than the quick-witted, just naturally intelligent, go by the gut guy like Christian is. So this could be a step in that direction, and Red Bull kind of doing a little bit of extra due diligence, getting an engineer in there, getting a very good engineer by all accounts in there to make sure that the 2026 car is what it needs to be. Because this last round of upgrades hasn't worked. Red Bull's throwing in the towel, and this is kind of the official kickoff of, yeah, we're done. There is nothing we can do here. The towel has been thrown, the white flag is waving, and now this season is a fight between Lando and Oscar. It is the battle of the McLarens. Red Bull has officially waved the white flag. Game, set, match. So it is the unfortunate reality, especially with working at the Red Bull teams. You know nobody is safe. You are always your feet are always over the fire. Red Bull moves quickly. They want to win. They want to win right now, and nothing is going to stop them from doing that except themselves. Now, I don't necessarily like this move. I think it was a bit rash. I get why they've done it, but I do believe that Christian Horner has earned the right to see the 2026 project through into 2026. Now, if the car comes out and it's a dud and it becomes a train wreck, then we can have that discussion. But this move, I do believe, is absolutely premature. So, I think there is much more at play. I think this stems more from the rife that was caused by the allegations that Horner faced early last year. I think it's just snowballed with the performance drop, the upgrading failures, and that Red Bull no longer sees and Red Bull has gotten scared with what they are going to see in 2026. And that is one of the reasons why I think they are going the other direction and going with the engineer to run the team. And yeah. Now, Christian Horner, I think he lands on his feet somewhere. If I were to bet on where Christian Horner lands, I do think that if Ferrari doesn't start producing, I think Christian Horner lands in Ferrari. I do think that will end up being the case. And that, oh my, wouldn't that be a show? You got Christian Horner, Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, all on one team. And that team is Ferrari. So, if I were to make the prediction, it is going to be Christian Horner in Ferrari in 2026. Fred Vassar, sorry, but that's what I'm thinking. Ferrari needs that top of the line team principal to whip everybody back into shape, back into line. Fred Vassar was supposed to be that. It's not looking like that's the case. And Christian Horner, with all of the baggage that he has, I think he is going to be able to leave 99% of that at Red Bull and come into this new team that he's going to land on his feet somewhere. He is too good to not land on his feet. And I think he's going to land on his feet in the team from Italy. The Prancing Horses. And I think by the time we get the winter break in 2026 or into 2025, we're going to get the word Christian Horner, team principal, Ferrari. That is what we see. Now, with this move, I don't know how much time this buys Red Bull. I really don't. We'll have to see after I believe Hungary is the next race. I could be wrong on that. But We'll have to see. Which is weird because Spa. Spa. Okay, it's Spa and then Hungary. So we got 2 races until the final, until the winter break. Okay. So we got 2 more races till the winter break. Or summer break. Jeez, oh Pete's. And quite frankly, if Belgium turns out to be an absolute crap show for Red Bull, Katie barred the door because Max is going to be gone. We will know after Spa whether this saga continues or or Max at Red Bull is a dead relationship, and nobody has the heart to tell. And Max doesn't have the heart to tell Red Bull, and Red Bull doesn't have the heart to tell Max. We'll see. Or, well, it'd be Max having the heart to tell Red Bull. But we'll see. We'll see. Now, until next time, I'm Dylan Hildreth. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. If you're listening on podcast, make sure to hit the follow button, leave a 5-star review, and download the episode. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you.